This is Colin Digits. I'm here with the Digitsclub. Today, an outlook on the second and the third quarter of 2022, what we have planned for Digitsclub, where the focus will be at, and how we're going to achieve these goals as a representative of Digit brands, of course, and as a community as a whole, what we can do to grow and share value among one another. And that's basically the main thing. It's the value circle, right? So I will do my screen share and I'll walk you through the sketchpad. I just need to make sure that I open the chat. Yep, there we go. And the main focus will be the initial structure, right? So of course, the Digitsclub, as agreed upon earlier, is still an open community as of right now. Very soon, this will change. Likely later today, in 1 hour, I have a meeting with the advisors and we will pick the mint date. So of course, the bearish sentiment in the market is not going to hold us back from what we want to achieve. We adjust accordingly and we make it happen. So ultimately, the Digitsclub community will look like a pyramid. This is a very ugly pyramid. Give me 1 second. Still ugly, but it may be a little bit more stable, right? So there will be a hierarchy, of course. Ultimately, at the top, we'll have the council, right? The council to be elected, which will be 12 seats, of which 6 are covered by Digits brands people, so likely to be the executives and the person in charge of the club, and 6 are external, which means the advisors can also take a seat there. The council will ultimately decide on the fate of the club, what is actually going to be executed and implemented. Then the second layer is, of course, the DAO, right? Which will be in multiples of 100. So I will write 100 with an S because it's basically 100, 200, 300, 400 based on how we grow. How this will work, there are some ideas, which I will explain in a second, but there's no concrete step yet. Then we have our agents, our beloved ultimate utility agents, right? Which go right here. Which basically for the agents, the entire plan is figured out. So that's all good. Then we have something that will not be implemented in the short term, but is implemented in the long term on the roadmap, which is members, right? The difference between these two is that members are members with little to no utility and agents have all the utility. Right? So these are just participants on the Discord. And then here you have general, which is basically for anybody through social media that joins the Discord, only one channel, everything else is gated. So very important from a member perspective, right? Most of you will either be here or you will be here, that if you are not in one of these two layers, it means that you'll be here, which your participation in the club will be halted at that point, right? Because we're going to gate off the community. The question, why are we going to gate off the community? Because we want the value and the structure, the things we want to deliver is going to happen here, right? That's why I said this is not in 2022, this is unlikely to happen, right? The members. So the focus will be on these 3 parts to keep it well structured and to keep it well efficient in terms of the value. So this will basically be a one big check mark in which we move forward. Of course, the quantity of the amount of members is really important, right? The more people, the more potential, but also the more disruption, right? Again, we're going to test it out with the first batch of agents, make sure everything is perfect before introducing either more agents or more DAO people or more members. There is no rush in this process, right? The individuals that have chosen to participate, they will have to be served at the highest level first. oh, this is like the root, right? Like a root sign. I meant it's just like a checkbox sign. And once that has happened, then we will explore further, right? Things we are going to do, which is interesting. So there will be specific AMAs that take place here, and there will be some AMAs that will take place here. Well, you can imagine the difference. So if it's like a paid AMA, right, it goes here because we need as much reach as possible. And when I say paid, they pay us in NFTs, and we move those NFTs to the Digits treasury, right? But they want as much reach as possible, so we would host it in general. As soon as you see the agents are gated, right, the AMA is gated, it means that we're actually going to provide lots of value there, do partnership with these projects, and therefore we host it in the private community. In that case, there will obviously be an extension of how things work. So the one thing which I think is like very normal, things like the research lab, right, that will come back. It was one of the most interesting setups that we did in the past, and it worked really well. That will guaranteed come back, and there will be quite an emphasis on that. Other than that, there is room for a lot more ideas, right? And Piers is saying, just DAO it. Well, we are going that direction. So we are definitely aligned in the same pattern. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be any type of different topic that we could think about what we want to do within the gated community. Remember, from the outset and throughout, the community value is the community itself, right? What we do together is ultimately the value that we bring. Of course, we have the Digitspad integration, we have all these other opportunities, but Digitsclub as its own is still obviously its own community. So what we are actually looking for, and we are going to open up this opportunity and see if one individual can show the expertise to pull that up, is we're going to put a Digitsclub manager in place from the community to basically fill in 2, 3, and 4 based on what the community wants. And this is actually a paid position. So somebody from the community that is interested in this, I will post a form later today in Digitsclub, can step forward. If you have ideas about the community to manage the structure, how we're going to implement this, because nobody understands this community better than you do, right? You're here, you're watching this, you're participating. We don't want to bring in somebody external unless we have to, because they haven't been here since the start, right? Most of you guys, I think 90% of the people watching this right now have been here for the last 3-4 months, right? And it's amazing. That's why I want to give you the opportunity to take this position if you want it, try it, because you know what we have gone through and you know the possibilities, right? The potential. So it will be an easy Google form that you can fill in. It will ask some information, why you think you're the right candidate. And then we will do a short interview, right? So that's basically one big thing, is we're going to put a dedicated person with a very good compensation on the Digitsclub to basically make sure that the servers, the things we deliver in terms of value, the engagement, the participation is at the highest level and stays at the highest level. Remember that the Digitsclub is obviously one of the cornerstones of the Digits ecosystem. Everything comes back ultimately in the Digitsclub, right? Before we move on the DAO and Council IDs that I have, any questions on this so far? DAO, Council. Any questions so far? So far, so good, guys. Let me know. Let me know in the chat so we can continue. That's a good question. Yes, there will be only one position, but we might try multiple candidates. As we treat it, as you'll actually become part of the Digits Brands team, you'll be responsible for Digitsclub, and there will also be an ownership percentage on this position. So you'll get a certain percentage of things that happen on the Digitsclub. It's a very lucrative position, right? Because if you enjoy the community, if you enjoy what we're doing, I think it's amazing. But of course, it's like any other gig. It is your complete creative freedom, and it has responsibilities. So we treat you like one of our own. But the most important thing is that you're part of the Digits team, and at the same time, you're a community member. So you can basically have best of both worlds. One position, ultimately, we can try multiple people and see who's the best fit. Yes. All right. So one thing which has more to do with the Digits agents, but I need to explain right now, otherwise it doesn't make sense, is that, so very brief explanation. So the mainframe is right here. And then you have all these products that we have: Track Digits, Digitsclub, Digitspad, Digits Treasury, and the staking will happen on the mainframe. So we basically centralize it to attach all the products later so the agents work. That's basically how it works. The DAO and the council voting, I don't have the requirements how that works, but the governance will also be on the mainframe. So because the staking takes place there of the NFTs, the DAO and the council governance votes will also happen here. It will be communicated in Digitsclub, right? How that works, and just same as Digitspad. Basically, Digitspad is also the pools go back to the mainframe, the signal, and then to Digitsclub. So there's a bot continuously communicating about Digitspad changes, the pools opening, the pools closing, and the same would happen with the governance voting. But what is most important is that everything is automated. So based on the set requirements, people lose or gain their DAO position for a certain amount of time based on the requirements of the platform. And you basically, the idea is that if you would put it on biggest holders, then ultimately you have the top 100 biggest holders, but 60, 70, 80% of them don't participate, right? Because they're just whales staking the NFTs and they're not actively contributing to that. In the case where you would have, based on engagement, so that's something we're looking at, the most active participants, and then a percentage of that, a percentage of the whales, a percentage of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that would take the governance. But the governance, it's important that it happens outside Digitsclub in the actual control panel on the mainframe where the staking takes place as well. But how this ecosystem works will be announced very soon because we actually have a live model, and now we're basically pushing that live model into an economy builder. So we can actually, hopefully soon, in the next 2 weeks, show you how the point economy works and how we found the equilibrium on the system, which is one of the hardest things to do, which most ecosystems can never execute. It's definitely a nightmare, right? I'm going to tell you that it's dozens and dozens of hours with the team to make sure that the economy is stable. But that has nothing to do with Digitsclub. So let's not get too much into detail there. The focus, what I wanted to explain, is about the governance, the DAO and the council, DAO voting, council execution and implementation, and ultimately they carry a veto vote over the DAO in case that might ever be needed, right? So the DAO is just the recommendation structure, and there will be hundreds of people that will be allowed to vote on certain things, right? Maybe even the requirement is that you have an agent, something like this. I feel underexposed to the Digits agent. Is there a possibility to get more? The riddles in the dark chapter is starting soon. I don't have an official announcement on that, but I will have an official announcement on that in like 2 hours. So if you are patient, then there will be an announcement drop in 2 hours on the first chapter opening, and you can get to the riddles shortly. That's basically the main idea I wanted to discuss today. It's quite brief. So the most important things are the structure of Digitsclub, the value that we bring internally right? That it's focused on the closed community, not the open community. Very important, because people right now are very active in the community, but I do want you to be aware that this might change, because the agreement was, which we made with the starting members, that as soon as the agents are minted, we close back down. The value shifts from the open community to, of course, the closed community, as that is our main focus. In that case, we also have a higher level conversation, and we want to bring the research lab back. We have several partnerships lined up that also, when the chapter opens, the partnerships will roll out as well, which you will basically immediately notice that we are attracting high quality individuals. If we have a research lab, they have experience in research labs. So if you know communities that have research lab, make research reports, it is extremely likely that you'll see them on the partnership overview for the agents, right? You can do a little bit of exploration yourself. One other very important thing is that we want to offer the Digitsclub manager role to somebody from the community if there's interest for that, right? It's an amazing opportunity, very good compensation, very much a transfer of authority there. That is the person in charge, that is the person that can make the decisions. And basically you're half with the Digits brand, half with the community, the perfect setup. If that doesn't happen, then of course we will find somebody externally. But I do want to offer this great opportunity to you guys, but because of course that would be the best fit, right? That would be the best of both worlds. Then the staking and the governance happens on the mainframe. So where the DAO voting is now done inside Digitsclub, it will be done outside Digitsclub, and the results will only be communicated through a bot towards the club. How that's going to work, we still have to figure out those logistics, but it's definitely going to be a high value community. The focus on value, not per se quantity, right? We don't care if we don't have 25, 30,000 people, because it's extremely difficult to keep 30,000 people happy. What is a lot easier is to keep less than 5,000 people happy, and that's already quite a big job. So when the gates close of Digitsclub, we can really elevate our conversations. Things that we are not really utilizing as much as the voice chat right now, and you will see very big schedules of myself, but also team members, basically just hanging on the voice chat if anybody has questions. I see amazing questions coming through, even in the band market, which is also something to consider, right? Everything goes on. You basically see 80, 90% of the people during the bearish trend drop off. And the gated communities, they stay active. The value is still there because there's still, crypto is crypto, of course. In the bearish market, there might be less opportunities, but it's not that there's none, right? We also, to be fully transparent, took a minute to analyze the market, right, to make decisions. But we know what kind of product we have. We know that we need to test the ecosystem economy. We know that it takes time. So why not just go through with the plan and basically take Digitsclub to the next level with the agents? We're ready, and I hope you are ready as well. That was my full speech. Anybody has any questions in regards to everything else? Yes, Piers. It's like an ongoing education, but not only one way, right? We're not going to educate you. We're also going to learn from each other, right? Bring in external expertise, because the thing is, because crypto develops so fast, we can always learn new things. And those steps that we make right now, right, the small, relative quick steps, will have tremendous results when the masses return in a more bullish market. Because in that case, you guys know tokenomics, you know what to look for, how to look for it, right? And these things, what we spoke about before, tokenomics masterclasses, blah, 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 we will bring as soon as the agents have taken their place in the ecosystem. Yes, Futuro, I agree. It's a long-term focus. So bear, bull market, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we kickstart the ecosystem we get the assets in place, and we basically grant ourselves the opportunity, because time is obviously important, to get the most out of the time that we have, right? And we need to keep that ball rolling instead of other projects that just keep postponing, which makes no sense. The position opening will be posted in about the next 2 hours. So I will post the Digitsclub position today, in the next 2 hours, and immediately after, chapter 1 of the riddles of the agents will open, which of course is extremely bullish, but it's basically a video, very short video, with the announcement of when it actually opens, right? So it's just an announcement, you have some time, but basically you need to rest your mind, because soon as these riddles hit, it will be, I don't want to say a nightmare, but of course I built them, so they're not easy to solve. But if you do solve them, the reward is significant. That's all I'm going to say. The reward will be significant. Yes, Mr. Woodsman, I agree. If everybody makes 1 quality post per day, we'll have the best Discord. And Piers, I know Bobcat, they did amazing things with the research lab before. Just because of the changes, we had to shut it down. But if we bring it back, the value will be tremendous. We have the people. I mean, I see AMAs on Discord with 10,000 people and 5 people show up. You know, that we have this big of a show up in a bearish market on a time which is quite inconvenient, but I'm basically fully booked all day, every day this week. I really appreciate you guys being here right now. I'll make sure the recording gets distributed to the ones that weren't able to be here. And if you have any questions, feel free to write it in general chat, tag me, and I'll pick it up. Thank you so much for your time. I'll be back, I believe, tomorrow or Wednesday with another AMA, where we're basically going to go over Digitspad, I believe. So Wednesday, if all goes according to plan, which it should, on Wednesday, you actually get a pool walkthrough, which is super bullish, which we're going to go inside of Digitspad and show you everything that the platform can do, what it looks like. You can see that all the logic works. So basically, when the agents are ready, bang, Digitspad is there to go live, to be pushed and push the ecosystem into the next level, step by step, you, me, all the agents together. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.